Max Verstappen during testing emerged fast with his Red Bull, while his rival last season, Lewis Hamilton, looks really slow ahead of the season opener. When the new Mercedes Formula One car, the W13 B, hit the headlines in Barcelona, Max Verstappen had no hesitation in giving a surprising opinion on Lewis Hamilton's updated Formula One challenger. In Bahrain for the second winter test session, the big star was Mercedes, and all eyes were riveted on the new features that the German team had brought to its car, starting with the absence of side pods on either side of the engine. For the time being, it is impossible to say whether this will allow Mercedes to dominate the field, as the teams are focusing on reliability rather than performance. Still, Max Verstappen already has a radical opinion on the car of his great rival, Lewis Hamilton. When the second testing round came, it felt as if the Mercedes had a bit of work needed. By qualifying, the Bahrain grid will begin with Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz, leaving Hamilton behind Sergio Perez, who looks comfortable in fourth. When the team gave a relatively obscure version of their vehicle, it prompted several discussions within F1, particularly Red Bull, who claimed something was off. Verstappen himself said, "I don't know if it's legal, but it's ugly, isn't it? Even the colors chosen are not exactly harmonious. It's really not nice." And for their zero pods, it's a different way of working with the 2022 concept. At the moment, we don't know who has the best solution, but if Mercedes has done better than us, we'll just have to brake a little bit later to make up time. Max Verstappen warned that Red Bull is yet to show off their actual pace despite enjoying an impressive preseason display at the 3-day test in Bahrain, pointing out that the Mercedes and their driver don't feel like a threat. The Austrian outfit came up just short in their efforts to clinch last season's Constructors' Championship title, which eventually went to Mercedes after a long and hard-fought battle that lasted for the campaign's duration. Red Bull now appears to be ahead in this weekend's Bahrain Grand Prix over Mercedes after a robust preseason display in which they set the fastest lap of the entire week. Verstappen's hot lap on the final day of running was the quickest overall after the Bulls introduced a new side pod upgrade ahead of Saturday's on-track action. Red Bull seemed to be far more comfortable in Bahrain than Mercedes. The latter ended a turbulent time and have been tipped to slip behind their Constructors' Championship rivals when the hostilities resume on Sunday. The Silver Arrows turned plenty of heads when their W13 arrived with a revolutionary design in which its side pods were virtually non-existent. However, they struggled with porpoising throughout each session and failed to make their mark on the timesheets when compared with the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari. Verstappen has since issued a reminder that his team was not firing on all cylinders, suggesting that Hamilton could be in for a long afternoon when the 5 red lights go out on Sunday. The Dutchman said, "Nobody is full beans in qualifying spec at the moment. Of course, the car is better in low fuel, and actually on the high fuel, the car doesn't really do a lot, but it's the same for everyone. I think with the new parts, which arrived today, they also worked really well, which you always hoped for. They worked, so then hopefully we will keep them on for the opening race. At the moment, I don't think we will be competing for wins." It remains to be seen whether Red Bull will be too strong for Mercedes when the talking stops and the racing finally begins at this weekend's Bahrain Grand Prix. Hamilton recently insisted that the Silver Arrows will have plenty of work to do in order to avoid falling too far behind their rivals during the early stages of the new campaign. Mercedes' latest spaceship mirrors caught the eyes of teams at Bahrain's preseason test, with many attacking the design. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner said, "We certainly don't want to get into a mirror war. So much time in these technical meetings over the last 10 years have been about the function of the mirrors and whether they become wings or not, at least probably not in the intention. So in the right forum, in the TAC meeting they have, that will probably be addressed and discussed there." Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto has also claimed that there is a significant aero purpose behind the mirrors on the Mercedes. Though Verstappen has said he isn't scared of Hamilton and the Mercedes team, there seems to be a new competition in Ferrari, who released a spectacular car that has justified itself in testing and qualification for the opening race. While the Silver Arrows are lagging, it should be noted that they should never be written off. At the start of last season, the team was also lagging, falling behind the top grid spot before picking back up to win the Constructors' title ultimately. Red Bull's Christian Horner pointed out that the 2022 battle will by no means be limited to Mercedes and Red Bull locking horns for the title, referencing the new regulations that have been set up in racing. The new regulations have opened the door for other teams to battle squarely for the title. He said, "I think there could be some other competitors joining that battle, particularly with a clean sheet of paper. With these brand new cars, it's a complete reset. Arguably, it's the biggest regulation change in the last 40 years. But I'm sure the intensity of rivalry between the teams and the drivers will be as pertinent as ever. I think that maybe we and Toto share differences of opinion over Abu Dhabi. That's all done and dusted, and all focus is very much now on 2022. What you did see last year was a fantastic competition from the first race to the last one. I think that's been a key part of Formula One's revival and popularity. Certainly we hope that there's going to be an equally exciting year, although ideally a little less exciting at times. We'll be competing hard again this year, and it looks like some of our colleagues will be in that fight as well. Hopefully, I think that could even make it even more exciting. This season's start of a fresh technical era for F1 signals an ample opportunity for Ferrari to try to fight at the front again after 2 seasons without a race win. The Dark Horse revealed its new car, the F175 in Maranello, which featured a rather radical aerodynamic design that stood out compared to the other models. Mattia Binotto, the Ferrari team boss, explained that he wanted the team to pursue radical design routes and to be open-minded before settling on a direction to go in. He noted, "It was important for us to be fully open-minded in the way we approached the exercise. It was not a matter of simply continuing the concept of the previous car and adapting them to the new rules. When reading the new regulations since the very start, we tried to have a completely open-minded approach, trying to understand where we may have improved the aerodynamics and the overall performance of the car. When designing and developing the new car, it has been aerodynamically driven, so all the mechanical choices have been a consequence of it. All the power unit packaging has been a consequence of an aerodynamic choice." During the 6 days of testing, Ferrari's F175 all the pit lane and could easily be considered as the team that had the most wonderful testing period. From Spain to Bahrain, the team's drivers always came near the top of the timesheet, a mark they are prepared to challenge for the title. When the news of the change in technical rules came, Ferrari was one of the teams that took a rather brave and extreme approach to build their F175, featuring an upgraded power unit. After the successful testing, Ferrari looks poised for the season opener in Bahrain at least, but on the grand scale of things, except if other teams find their balance, Ferrari might snatch the championship. The French Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc said the preseason testing has been his best testing so far. "It's definitely one of the smoothest preparations I've had before. A Mercedes' new car is nothing to the Red Bull champion, but what else is he not scared of? What should be his worry?" Like and share the video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more.